Assalamu alaikum. A very warm welcome to the platform of one incredible women of Pakistan. My today's guest is Samrina Anwar. She has done a lot in the field of education. लेकिन मैं highlight करूँगी उनका वो काम जो उनको बहुत ज़्यादा special बनाता है. She has done a lot of work for the autistic children. हम उनसे जाके मिलते हैं एक ऐसी dedicated teacher जो कि वैसे ही आपको पता है teachers का एक बहुत integral part होता है. वो बच्चों को बहुत influence करती हैं and they do wonders in the world. बल्कि professions जितने भी हैं उन सबको teachers ही groom करती हैं, polish करती हैं और आगे लेके जाती हैं. लेकिन समरीना जो है उन्होंने बहुत ही ज़्यादा सेंसिटिव एक सेंसिटिव कह सकते हैं, हमें पूरा एक शेल था जिसमें जाकर उन बच्चों को जो ऑटिस्टिक होते हैं उनको हेल्प किया और उनको ग्रो करने में और उनको सोसाइटी के लिए यूजफुल बनाने में इन्होंने अपना एक अहम किरदार अदा किया, विच इज़ नॉट वेरी ईजी थिंग. आपको कभी कभी आप खुद बहुत ज़्यादा इमोशनली डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं. तो समरीना से मिलते हैं और जानते हैं कि उन्होंने कैसे जर्नी स्टार्ट की और कैसे वो अपने रास्तों को एक्सप्लोर करती हैं और डिफरेंट चीज़ें करती चली आई. अस्सलाम वालेकुम समरीना.
सलाम.
Hope you're good.
I'm very good. Thank you so much.
अच्छा समरीना, हम जब टीचिंग की बात करते हैं तो obviously I have seen your profile. You had been working with very renowned institutions. तो उसमें ये होता है कि आपकी एक स्टूडेंट बॉडी ऐसी होती है नॉर्मली कि जिसको पढ़ाने का, जिसके साथ काम करने का आपको इसलिए मज़ा आता है कि एक बेस सेट हुई होती है और आप इंजॉय करते हैं उन बच्चों को अपने वी इनकलकेट करने में और सारा, और आप बड़ा अच्छा फीडबैक भी ले रहे होते हैं और कंपैरेटिवली एक मज़ेदार सा काम है और ईजी काम है. लेकिन अगर मैं उसके साथ इसका कंपेयर एंड कंट्रास्ट करूं जो दूसरा काम आप कर रही थी ऑटिस्टिक बच्चों के लिए, यू वर हेल्पिंग एंड यू वर ऑलवेज देयर फॉर देम, इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट. तो कैसे आपको ये ख्याल आया कि मैं इस चीज़ के लिए भी काम करूं एंड हाउ इट ऑल स्टार्टेड?
Actually, I loved teaching, and you're right, the fast response that you get in teaching, especially when you're teaching senior kids. छोटे बच्चों के साथ भी बहुत मजा आता है. But I just loved teaching from the very beginning, and I did not become a teacher by chance. It was a choice that I made.
Oh, lovely.
So I always wanted to become a teacher, but I've done a lot of diversity in between. Like I taught in my own school, which was Convent of Jesus in Mary. Then I joined LGS, and then in between, I had a few friends, and we started a school called Garden. And in that school, we started taking all those children who were rejected by other schools, which included children with some special needs, which included children who, because of emotional needs, had stopped working at all. And I still take a lot of pride in it that I work.
From where that idea actually emerged, how it occurred to you?
I mean, there were people who were running that institute, and I think
because in LGS, I mean, when we are talking, it's entirely different stream of children you are in. How it all start? I mean, from where it emerged कि इन बच्चों को जिनको कोई ले नहीं रहा, rejected हैं, इनके लिए भी कोई जगह होनी चाहिए.
Because I'll just add a little bit of personal touch in it. I'm a polio survivor, and when I had polio when I was 2 years old, the doctor told my mother I'll never be able to walk. And my mother was such a resilient woman. She said she will walk and she'll do everything. So at that time, her journey was amazing, and she gave me that confidence.
So behind every successful woman, there is a hand of another woman.
Oh yes, a very strong mother, a very strong khala, and a very strong elder sister. And then of course now my husband. Very great, a strong man also.
Good to know that, and I can see reflecting while she was talking. I mean, alhamdulillah, you're a blessed one.
Yes, and my children, of course, they've been a pivotal part in a lot of things in my life journey. But coming back to teaching, so when I started teaching, I could relate with the children sitting in the back, because when I was emotionally disturbed in my school, my studies were affected. I was made fun of, I was ridiculed, although bullying is a very common factor. And children can be very cruel. It wasn't that somebody did it intentionally, but it was just that it was a part of our society. Anybody different, nobody was willing to accept. The missionaries were very nice to me, my teachers, my nuns, but I had a very protective elder sister. But I went through a very tough ride. That is when I started relating with children who were different. I could see their expression and I could tell there's something going wrong.
Right.
So I started figuring out how can we help these children. So when this school started, basically...
So basically, passively, it was lying somewhere in you, and it came out when you actually became a teacher and you thought that line.
Yes, I could see myself, a part of myself in certain children.
But when you were a little girl and suffering from all this trauma, because I am considering myself, I'm going back to my days of school, there wasn't any awareness at that time. And nobody could feel that a child who's not performing well academically might be suffering some, psychological pressure pressures or may not be having proper treatment from the school or something like that. So at that time, was there anyone who got close to you and trying, anybody was helping you to pull you out of this problem you were facing at the time?
My family.
Right.
And then there was a teacher when I was in grade 6
Right.
who gave me a lot of confidence.
Right.
Most importantly was my mother, one of my khalas and my sister. And they were like both my khalas were really very nice. I think my family treated me like somebody not with a disability but with many abilities. And that's how I feel this slogan should be: children who are different are differently abled. They are not
This is
disabled.
talk of the day, by the way, that everybody, they join hands in hands and they made you feel that you can do wonders. And that actually, Samrina, is an example that when we motivate and we dream of something, our dreams can lead us to, to the epitome of success or whatever we are thinking. Then what?
So the scars were there, and they were the ones who would always put something on it. And I realized that I became what I became because there were people who were telling me these scars really doesn't matter. And there was one thing that my mother always said to me कि बेटा अपने से नीचे देखना है, ऊपर ना देखना.
And that was the healing process for you, and you
उस
went
वक्त
up and
I'll
up.
be very honest कि नहीं समझ आता. And I was like कि मुझे आप lecture दे रही हैं, चल सुन लेती हूँ. But then it all came back very meaningfully and purposefully. And I realized, and there was another thing, there was I feel that वो जो rustic जिसको आप wisdom कहते हैं ना, which comes from your elders and which is actually kind of inherited, वो बड़ा important है कि ये सुनना कि कुरान शरीफ को उस तरह नहीं पढ़ना और समझना क्लासरूम में जाके, कहानी की तरह सुनना. That's how I had a very full of stories childhood. So I used to listen to so many Punjabi muhavras. मेरा एक बड़ा ambition है कि मैं पंजाबी मुहावरों की किताब देखूँगी. So I can speak Punjabi.
Sounds interesting. क्योंकि वाकई वो बहुत meaningful होते हैं and they get fit into so many places.
और वो हमेशा मुझे कहती थी कि इससे मकसद पे आए हो दुनिया से, बगैर मकसद तो नहीं आए, मकसद लब लेना. And I felt that was actually also one of the pivotal factors that made me think कि कुछ तो करना है ऐसा जिसका कुछ किसी और को भी फायदा हो. And when I started working with autistic children, I thought this is the ultimate. I could just relate so much with those parents.
So Samrina, हमारे specifically, if I'll be talking about the area we are surviving in or we are living in, यहाँ पर आपको वैसे तो हर किस्म का curriculum भी मिल जाता है, बहुत diversity है, आप उठाते हैं, आपको different academic resources, आप बहुत ज़्यादा उसको advance भी कर सकते हैं, relate भी कर सकते हैं उसको international books और साथ. इसके लिए आपको curriculum वगैरह बनाने में कुछ problems तो नहीं आए?
बिल्कुल आए problems, and I do appreciate the person who started this project, and she was a mother herself, and she's still a mother, but she invested a lot on training.
Right.
But I felt training, yes, definitely taught me a lot. I took every training, every step that I could learn. But my real teachers were those children. I actually learned from them. It's a very circular teaching when you work with children who are different.
Yeah.
You learn more from them. Their needs taught me how we can change and meander everything उनकी requirements के मुताबिक. And that made a world of difference, because अभी भी I feel कि वो कुछ और ही अल्लाह ताला ने बच्चे बनाए हुए हैं, and it is our responsibility to explore that area.
वैसे तो being a teacher, I can see you are very passionate and you're very close. You must be very close to them. लेकिन कोई ऐसा बच्चा जो आपको बहुत याद रह गया और कोई ऐसी story, तो I would like कि आप उनसे share करें.
I mean, सारे बच्चे बहुत कमाल थे, but जब मैंने realize किया कि by default these children cannot lie, so that was the day I realized that I'm working with Sufis.
Yes. Yeah.
And they can read. That is what I realized in this 12 years of journey. And it was like I used to sleep autism, I used to drink autism, I used to eat autism. My family learned everything. My husband, my children, they know everything about autism, because I used to come and pour everything to them. कि मैंने ये करना है, और 4 बजे उठ के मुझे ख्याल आता था कि इस बच्चे के लिए मैं ये कर सकती हूँ, and I used to write it down. So I was completely involved with those children, and what I found very amazing was that वो झूठ ही नहीं बोल पाते थे, and they had this some other sense. They had a lot of sensory needs.
Right.
Noise, they could hear more than us. They have more vision than us. I mean, I can give you a whole insight into what actually autism is, and we still have to explore the reason why Allah Ta'ala made these children this way, because they were meant to become the geniuses of the world.
Right.
And we needed to train them that way. So they would never lie, and their sixth sense would sometimes pick up things that I would never voice. And it was amazing. We had a music teacher, a young person. We used to train those teachers. I did the training mostly. And he used to work with these children. And one day he came to me, a young person, almost tears in his eyes. And there was, I won't take names of the students, but there was this young girl, a very beautiful artist and a very nice storyteller, autistic girl. And he said that, she came to me and she suddenly out of the blue said to me, your mother is happy with you. And he said, I was shocked. Nobody in the school knew that his mother passed away. And he always used to think that I've joined music, maybe my mother is not happy with me. He said, I've never told my family about
this is incredible.
This was amazing. And then I told him that these children can sometimes go into a different, different world and see more than us, understand more than us.
Samrina, you have opened an entire new world for us as well. I mean, I can analyze what he must have felt at that moment. I mean, this is something which is,
yes, and that was
magical.
In my experience, I was upset one day, and this child walks into my office and says, you never talk about your brother. And I just tried to, avoid the topic, and I said, I don't have a brother. And she said, please don't lie. And my brother passed away very young. I just had one brother. Nobody knew about it. And I looked at her and I told her, yes, I am upset.
Amazing. Samrina, since you had been working a lot in this field, I mean, you must be opening some training center or something like that, because we really need it. Because I could hardly hear of anyone training people, because you have hands-on experience. You have done it by yourself. So do you have any plans for opening such institute or any training center?
The sad part is that people don't want to learn. And it's really sad. And I don't know, this journey kind of abruptly ended. I was diagnosed with cancer during COVID, and I was working from home. Even during my chemotherapy, I was working with these children because I found it very therapeutic to stay in touch with work. But then, as human beings, I don't know.
Samrina, your life. I mean, looking at you is simply wow. I must have never imagined. I mean, I was looking at your hands, your rings, and everything. I mean, everything is depicting that your life.
Oh,
stay blessed always, Samrina. It was lovely talking to you. I wish I could talk at length. But again, any message for the youth, those who are watching you right now?
I feel we miss it. It's more than the youth. I want to give a message to the parents. We need to understand our children, and we do not need to blame them. I've come back into teaching again, and I'm teaching teenagers, and I can so relate with them. Their life is much more difficult than us. Please remember that our children are living multiple selves. They have one person on Instagram, they have another person on Facebook, another on Snapchat, and another with you. Don't blame them, understand them. Be very close to your children, and you'll realize they're living in a world full of anxiety. You're the only one who can pull them out of it. Let them live their life, enjoy them, accept their errors and their mistakes, accept them, welcome them with their whole personality.
Thank you so much, Samrina, for joining us today. So that was Samrina with a beautiful thought. Do not blame your children, rather understand them. Thank you so much.